You don't belong, and that's okay. You ever be at school or work and see people doing the same mundane tasks they did yesterday, and the day before that, and the day before that? No passion, no energy, and you almost feel trapped, like you're in a fake world. Then you start to think, I need more than this, something different. You also start having the realization that it's not just school or work, it's everywhere, because you're not supposed to question the routine of life, right? That's why when you start to question it, you feel confused. Why do people, even my own family, just accept this? How can people complain every day and not do anything about it? How can life consist of surviving the day, wait until the weekend, then enjoy your life? Not knowing why you do the things you do, but that's normal, I guess. But if you question this idea openly, you're the weird one. You're the overthinker. You're the problem, right? Am I ungrateful? Unrealistic? Wrong? Nah, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. You no longer fit into a life of mediocrity. It's bigger than school or work. It's about perspective. And once it changes, life follows. What you care about, what's important to you, what's actually worth your time, you slowly start to realize you do not fit into the life you used to. This doesn't make you or anybody else wrong or better. You just see things differently. And now that you see things differently, you have this difficulty. You rarely talk about your ambitions, plans, or goals. But when people ask and you tell them, they usually either look confused, laugh, or don't take you seriously, or both. But you can't take it personally. I say this because my classes were ending soon, and usually when it gets to the end of pretty much anything, people start to ask, so what's next for you? When I told them I'm going to focus on YouTube, they just laughed. And they asked me a little bit more about it, but they surprisingly said, that's pretty cool. And it made me realize that I chose this. I chose to do something unusual. So don't isolate yourself and tell yourself everyone is against you because the people around you don't fully understand you or what you're trying to do. You already mentally isolate yourself by doing something different. You end up spending more time working alone and coming up with ideas that don't make sense to anyone else. But this is also what you want, because when you do have your own vision, other people's doubts and opinions can start to dilute that vision. You don't need them to criticize you. You already are your biggest critic, but that pushes you to get better and also makes you question if what you're doing even makes sense, if you're delusional, if this is the path that you really want. And if this is the path that you really want, nobody's gonna be there every second to tell you, good job, buddy. You need that internal validation. You need to be that voice for you. And if that sounds impossible, that means you need to build that self-trust. But it's really simple. Be consistent in keeping promises to you. Do what you know you should do. And don't obliterate yourself when you mess up. But it also helps to have supportive people around, because it's easy to beat yourself up when you're the only one there. Don't romanticize being lonely, because it only makes your output worse. You don't need people to be around who fully understand your work. Just people who don't pull you away from it. Don't let your ambition turn into ego. Believing in yourself is necessary when going for something outside of the box, but don't interpret that as everyone is sheep, but instead as different people want different things, which is why some people don't fit anymore. When you chose this path and separated yourself, you have to let things go with respect. You cannot shrink yourself or drag people with you. We both know that won't end well. But through repetition, you start to figure it all out. And you really aren't different anymore. Just more you. At least we figured that part out. It feels like it takes so much time to even understand yourself. It makes you think, if I had enough time, could I really do anything?